Hey guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to talk to you about the First Descendant. Now it is going to be with us in less than a week on the 2nd of July, and I myself am looking real forward to playing this game as it's right up my alley with very similar to Warframe and a little bit of Destiny sprinkled in on the side. So that's really what I want to talk to you guys about in this video, is like what can you really compare the First Descendants to? What's going to be the day-to-day loop and progression and how you're going to gain power? Just my overall thoughts and like preview into what I think First Descendants will be like and how it's going to play out. I have put over 100 hours across all the betas. There's been 3 betas that I have been a part of now, and I really grinded out pretty hard. I do plan on covering this game pretty deeply and extensively on my channel. So if you guys are interested in the First Descendants and you'd like to hear more about everything there is to be about the Descendants, as well as upcoming like build videos and starter guides and what's the best Descendants, best weapons, how to farm them all, I will be covering all of that stuff on the channel, so stay tuned. Also subscribe to the channel for all of that. It helps me out so much and it keeps you guys up to date on everything First Descendants. So the First Descendants is a third-person looter shooter, like a MMO light kind of game. And the best way I can explain the Descendants to you guys is actually like a mix between the Destiny and Warframe, where Warframe is like the power progression and how you get stronger, as well as how you obtain the weapons in the Warframes, well, the Descendants in this case. And then Destiny being like how the missions are structured, like the open world and then the hub area as well, is very similar to Destiny. So let's first talk about the progression system, the weapons, the power and stuff, and how that is very similar to Warframe. So the main point of power in the game is going to be your modules, which is your mods that you then apply to your weapons as well as your Descendants. Now each Descendant and weapon all have like a maximum capacity, like a module capacity. So the module system is how you gain most of your power. So you can basically take any weapon in the game and make it really good, as well as any Descendant. The way you build them and mod them, because you can give them duration up, you can make them do more damage to specific damage types. There is even some modules that change the skills of the Descendants. I believe each Descendant has at least one module per of their skill. And then the ultimate versions have 2 different modules that the normal versions cannot use of those Descendants. So the modules really doing this right and getting this set up properly is where you can get most of your power from. Unlike something where Destiny, where you find a better weapon there, like a higher leveled weapon or a unique weapon, and then by default it is just better than like a blue weapon, for example. Whereas in the Descendants, obviously you're not going to be using blue weapons, but like the difference between a legendary weapon and a unique weapon is really going to be the mods, or even the difference between 2 legendary weapons depends on the mods you put on them and how you build out that weapon. You could be a fresh level 1 character with a fresh new purple level 1 weapon you found. But if you do have crazy mods you can apply to that weapon, so like your ults, for example, when you're leveling up other Descendants, you can take a weapon and then just build it up to be really strong and carry you through pretty much the whole game. So in saying that, I do suggest really focusing on your modules early on, leveling up some really powerful ones. Again, like I said, I will be covering all of this in the channel in upcoming videos, so stay tuned for that. But really build yourself like to really focus on some mods early on, because that is where your power is going to come from for all the weapons as well as the Descendants. Okay, so that is where most of your power comes from. Now let's actually talk about how you obtain these. So modules you pretty much get from just playing the game. They drop from enemies all over the missions. I think certain missions even have a certain chance for different ones. I remember farming in one of the betas, there was a Endless mission, and what that is, it's like a mission where you can keep going further and further. It has like 7 waves, for example. And then at the end of those 7 waves, you have an option. Do you now extract, like get out of the mission? Or do you carry on and do another 7 waves? Obviously, the enemies do scale up and get a lot harder. It's like an endless type mission, so you can just keep going until you can't beat the enemies anymore, as well as the rewards will keep going up as well. That is another way that you can farm specific, very strong mods. So there'll be all kinds of different ways like that. That's how you'll obtain the mods. The weapons, the same thing again, just by doing missions and killing enemies and playing through the game. You'll get weapon drops for the normal purple the purple weapons and the blue weapons, green weapons. But then for the unique weapons, I think they may have a small drop chance from certain missions and certain bosses and things. But I think the majority of way that you can get the unique weapons is actually from cracking open the different like relics. And those relics you actually do get from doing missions and like endless missions and stuff like that. And that's the same way that you will actually get the Descendants as well. So the different playable characters. You get these like relics, we call them. And you go into the Intercept Void battles, which is the big boss battles you guys have done before. And you beat those guys, and then you crack open those relics, because each of the different Void Intercepts, you can open a different relic that you get from previous missions. And then there is obviously a small chance there to get different parts for the different Descendants and weapons you want to make. Then you collect all of those parts and you go and research them and craft them. And that is how you will be farming and getting the different descendants and weapons that you want. So the mods, descendants, weapons, I've explained all of that. That's pretty much going to be your biggest grind, is really farming up mods and then farming up parts for the different descendants and weapons. And then also farming up the resources you do need to craft. These shouldn't take too long, but then farming the resources to actually level up your mods. Now in Warframe we call that Endo. In this game I can't really remember the name of it, but I do remember in the beta they gave us like 50 million of it just to really level up all the mods and try it out. So that's going to be another point for you to go and farm, is to gather all the different materials to then level up these different mods and also craft the different weapons and descendants. So that's going to be the general loop of progression. You're going to do these different types of missions to unlock relics, and then you take those relics to do the void intercepts. The void intercepts then crack open those relics and you can craft the weapons and descendants you are looking for, as well as farming supplies from all the other different missions at the same time while you are farming the relics, to then actually craft and upgrade all of these different things you are farming. So every kind of game mode is really going to tie into each other. So there's really not going to be anything you can be doing that will be a waste of time, especially early on in the game. You're going to need so many of these resources. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you are just speeding through and farming as much as you can and grinding out, you will always be progressing your account further, you know, and gaining more power as you'll get more stuff to level up your mods. You'll get more pieces to go unlock different descendants, and all of that's just going to tie in. So it's like a nice little loop where it really doesn't matter what you're doing early on. You just play the game, do everything, enjoy everything, because all of it's going to help progress you in like getting stronger on the account. And then later on, once you get a little bit further in and you really want to specifically farm up a descendant you're looking for, then you go and look in the library, where does that descendant's parts actually drop from, which relics drop them. Then you go to specific missions and you try and get those specific relics, and you go and crack them open. And that's going to be the loop more or less. As well as I said, they will add like these different modifiers to the missions. So that will just make replaying missions not as boring, I guess, or as tedious, as you can actually change the different, like make different modifiers for all the different missions they are. Kind of similar to like maps from PoE, Path of Exile. There's a little bit of that sprinkled in as well. We can add different modifiers and make the maps harder. And then in return, you do get more loot and rewards and resources and everything in the process. So it's a little bit harder and interesting as well, as it changes up how you play stuff. I'm not sure all the different modifiers, but I will definitely cover that once we do know the full information on that. But that is just another way to like enjoy the game and change it up, as well as increasing your farming efficiency, as it'll be harder, but you'll get more loot in return. So you'll have to do less of it in the long run. So that's going to mainly be the loop in the First Descendants, what I have gathered from everything I've seen from the dev talks and all that stuff, and also just my experience and playing it. And I'll be playing a lot of Warframe and seeing the similarities between them. I'm sure there'll be new things and other stuff added all the time, as well as like a battle pass and like daily challenges to do for that battle pass. The same thing actually happened in Warframe, so it gives you like a little bit of a daily incentive to do a different bunch of daily things. But for the most part, by playing, you just get your dailies and weekly stuff done anyway, so you don't really have to go out of your way for anything specific, but some of them might be a little bit more specific. But I'm just trying to emphasize that it doesn't seem like the game is going to focus too much on like homework activities, where it's more going to focus on, you know, go out there, grind what you want to grind, get the frame, get the different descendants you want to get, the different weapons, and just go out there, enjoy the game. And then by playing, you'll get all the other daily / homework type content just automatically completed by enjoying the game the way you want it to be. So I'm looking forward to that, as that's just right up my alley. I can't wait to dive into it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did like the video, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. Helps me out so much. And I will see you guys really soon on the First Descendants. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the